First, let me remind you of how to add fractions that just have integers in them. We need to find the lowest common denominator of the fractions, which is the lowest common multiple of the denominators. In this case, the lowest common multiple of 4 and 6 is 12, so we need to make our fractions have denominators of 12. So how do we make a 6 look like a 12? We have to multiply by 2. But because this is an expression, we can't go around just changing the values of things. We need to make sure that it's always equal to what we started with. So if we multiply the 6 by the 2, we also have to multiply this 1 by 2 as well. So we're multiplying by 2 divided by 2, or we're just multiplying by 1 overall. The same thing with the 4. To get to 12, we need to multiply by 3. But we can't just multiply the 4 by the 3, otherwise we're changing values. So we need to multiply the 1 by 3 as well. So now we're multiplying by 3 over 3. In other words, we're just multiplying by 1. So when we follow that through, 3 by 1 is 3, 3 by 4 is 12, so we have 3 over 12, plus 1 times 2 is 2, and 6 by 2 is 12. Now we have two fractions that have the same denominator, so we can just add them very easily. And it's simply just the 3 plus 2, so we get 5 over 12. This question isn't really much different. Even though there are x's in here, we still need to find the lowest common denominator. So what are the multiples of 3x and 4x? Well, we go 3x, 6x, 9x, 12x, and so on. And the multiples of 4x are 4x, 8x, 12x, and so on. So this is the lowest common multiple here. And it comes as no surprise that this is the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4 with an x on the end as well. So we need to get to 12x from 4x. To do that we have to multiply by 3. But we can't just multiply by 3 on the bottom, we have to multiply by 3 on the top as well, otherwise we're changing values. With the 3x to get to 12x we have to multiply by 4. So we have to multiply the 5 by 4 as well. So that gets us 20 over 12x plus 3 over 12x. And that is simply 23 over 12x. And we can't make that any simpler. A little trick is just that this 23 is prime, which means it doesn't have any factors apart from itself and 1. With this question, again, we're told to express this as a fraction in its simplest form. So we need to find the lowest common multiple of 2x and 3 minus 5x. Now with these x's it's very difficult to know exactly what that could be. In this case though, we can figure out the multiples of 2x. So we're going to have 2x, 4x, 6x, and so on. And none of these are going to have just a constant in it, which means that we can't multiply by a constant to get these two denominators equal. What we have to do instead is multiply by variables. So in this case what we're going to do is multiply each fraction by the denominator of the other fraction. So stay with me here. I'm going to multiply this by 2x over 2x, the denominator of this fraction. And again, multiplying top and bottom because we need to make sure we're not changing any values. And on this side, multiply that by the denominator of the other fraction. In this case is 3 minus 5x. So 3 minus 5x there, and 3 minus 5x there. So we get the 9 by the 3 is 27, 9 by minus 5 is minus 45, and there's an x there as well. And that's all over 2x times 3 minus 5x. The other fraction then turns into minus 4x, that's the 2 by the 2x. And then the denominator is, again, 2x times 3 minus 5x, the same as the denominator of the other fraction. So if we try and add these, we get 27, because there's no constant in this other fraction, so the 27 stays as it is. The minus 45x, then so you start with that, then you take away 4x, so we get minus 49x. And that's all divided by 2x times 3 minus 5x. Now how do we know that this is the simplest form? We have to try dividing by everything on the bottom. And if you're not familiar with how to divide fractions, then take a look at our earlier videos on algebraic fractions. So, we can't divide by 2 because 27 is odd. We can't divide by x because 27 doesn't have an x in it. So, if this can be simplified, we have to divide by 3 minus 5x. Well, the 27 can divide by 3, so that could be fine. So, to do that, we would need to factor out a 9, and that would leave us with the 3 from the 27. If we factor out 9 from 49, we get 5 point something, which isn't the same as 5x. So actually we can't simplify any further, and this is the end of the question. With this example, you may be ready to start multiplying things by 5x minus 15 and 6 minus 2x, but actually if you look quite closely, you may be able to see that the LCD is 10x minus 30. To turn this 5x minus 15 into 10x minus 30, all we have to do is multiply it by 2, which means we have to multiply the 7 by 2 as well. Now to turn this 6 minus 2x into 10x minus 30 takes a little bit more effort. We need to make sure that this minus 2x becomes positive first of all, so we're multiplying by a negative number. And then to get from 2 to 10 we have to multiply by 5. So we multiply by minus 5, and you'll note that when you multiply minus 5 by 6 you'll get minus 30. And then of course we have to multiply by minus 5 on the numerator as well. So we get minus 20 over 10x minus 30, and we get 14 over 10x minus 30. So that simplifies to minus 6 over 10x minus 30. But this isn't quite the simplest form because we can factor out a 2 from everything. So we get 2 over 2 times minus 3 over 5x minus 15. So then those 2's will divide by each other and get a 1, so our final answer is this. Let's say you didn't catch that the lowest common denominator was 10x minus 30, and instead you just went gung-ho and decided to multiply these fractions by the denominator of the other fraction. In that case, you would end up with this here. This is this 4 divided by 6 minus 2x multiplied by 5x minus 15. That's what you get here. And this is the other fraction multiplied by 6 minus 2x on the numerator and denominator. You can simplify that to 6x minus 18 all over 6 minus 2x times 5x minus 15. And I specifically take out minus 3 as common as opposed to just 3 because I can kind of see that this is going to end up as a 6 and a 2x, and I want to make sure that I have a plus 6 and a minus 2x so that I can cancel with this on the bottom. So that's exactly what I do there, and I end up with the same answer as I did with this other method. Now with this example, I don't have any cheaty ways to find a really nice common denominator. So what I'm going to do is just multiply by the denominator of the other fraction. So I multiply by 3x plus 2 on the denominator here, I multiply by 3x plus 2 on the numerator, the 3x plus 2 coming from the denominator of the other fraction. And over here I'm going to multiply by 2x minus 5 on the denominator, and I'm also going to multiply by 2x minus 5 on the numerator. So if I follow that through, I get 6x minus 15, that's the 3 by the 2x, and the 3 by the minus 5, and that's all divided by 2x minus 5 times 3x plus 2, and I take away 12x plus 8 all over 2x minus 5 times 3x plus 2. So when I add those on, this is 6x minus 12x gets me minus 6x, minus 15, and this is going to be a minus 8 because this minus here is going to multiply in. So the minus 15 minus 8 is minus 23, and that's all divided by 2x minus 5 times 3x plus 2. This is as simple as it gets. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next lesson.